to let people try and take it home and experiment with this super healthy way of eating.
How did you get started?
It's really interesting. Years ago, back in the early 60s, I was a model, and I was a very successful model, which means that you have no time to eat all day, and you also have to be insanely thin. Anybody need more? And I started eating raw food. I started in my model bag. I would carry around carrots and celery and cut up anything, anything I could carry up that I could eat in cabs, because people don't understand that when you're a really successful model, you are insanely busy. I mean, we work 9 to 10, 10:30, 11:30, 12 to 1, 1:30, 2:30, 3 to 4, 4:30, 5:30 every single day, with 30 minutes to get from uptown Manhattan to the Lower East Side, from the Upper West Side. There's never any time to eat. And if you didn't stay healthy, you couldn't work. And so people used to joke and say I looked like I was going to visit a sick rabbit. I always carried raw food with me everywhere I went. I'd always have baggies of raw food. And then many years later, I learned that I started studying with Gabriel Cousins in Patagonia, Arizona. He is a real raw food maven. And just about the time I moved to Telluride, 18 years ago, I started going down there and started fasting and learning about raw food, and started my skincare line. I'm the founder of Astara Skincare. And we make our skincare products out of raw botanicals, which do exactly to your skin what the raw food does internally. It regenerates your body. It gives your body the things it needs to stay young and vibrant. Does everybody have strawberries and any more? I've got a couple extra ones here. At least one. Let's clean. Here, yeah, this is serious chocolate.
With the chocolate, I'm going to be quite slow.
Where did I put that chocolate spoon I was using? Well, I can't find it.
Here, you can use this one.
That's got some nuts in it from. Oh, there it was. I left it in the bowl. All right.
Did anybody not?
Anybody have questions? Well, I'm going to give out. I'm giving out a whole stack of recipes for just things to get you to go home and try and experiment with. There is a world of raw food information out there now. All you have to, anything you like to eat, simply Google it raw. I mean, yeah, Colleen.
So, in what we've been taught with the typical diet, like dividing it up between so much dairy, so much meat, protein, so much fruits and vegetables, so much grains, and things like that. Do you do the same thing with a raw food diet? Do you divide it up and say, I really should be eating 60 or 70% fruits and vegetables, this amount of grains, this amount of nuts, this amount of...
In a raw food diet, that kind of takes care of itself. I actually never really think about it. That's a very interesting question. A raw food diet does not eat. Well, I shouldn't say that. Carol Alt, I don't know if you guys know who Carol Alt is. She's a wonderful model. Carol is 100% raw, but she eats meat. She eats meat raw. She eats, what's it called when you steak tartare? She eats it raw because the enzymes are alive. Carol eats this way because she had a very serious kind of cancer and has cured herself. A lot of incurable diseases are cured on a raw food diet, because what it does is it enables your body to utilize all of its resources to heal itself and not to digest our food. We have to have enzymes to digest food. Enzymes cannot survive above 115 degrees Fahrenheit, which means everything you eat that's cooked, that's ever been raised above 115, the enzymes are dead, which means that our bodies have to give up its own enzymes to digest that food. Now, when young people are born with loads and loads of enzymes, I mean, kids, 18-year-old kids, you go away to college, what do they live on? I mean, they live on chips and Cokes and God knows what, certainly nothing ever, and they manage to survive, and they do okay. That same diet in older people gives us constipation, makes our bodies just sluggish, and we age, and we say, oh, we're supposed to be old, that's what happens. That's bullshit. Pardon me, but it is. I mean, I am 72 years old. I have as much energy today as I ever have. I eat raw. I always have. It regenerates you beyond what you can believe. Do some research. I mean, I suggest just go online and look up raw nutrition. We need to have the enzymes that are naturally alive in foods. And as we get older, we have 30 times less enzymes in our body. Older people, I mean, when you're as old as me, I shouldn't have any left. And so that's why it's so important to eat the food that has the enzymes, because our bodies need to use our own enzymes to maintain health within our body and not have to give up all our enzymes. A classic case, you know, Thanksgiving dinner. After Thanksgiving dinner, how you kind of want to lie around on the sofa, go, you know, and we go, oh, it's all that tryptophan in the turkey. No, it's not. It's not. That's not the cause at all. It's all that massive amount of cooked food that gobbles up all your body's resources to digest it. I always have to think that perhaps the Kennedys only ate raw food because they ate Thanksgiving dinner and run out and play football. Remember when I was growing up, you always saw Kennedy family out playing football all the time. But it's a wildly rejuvenating, healthy way to eat. So anybody have any more questions? Yes?
My friend's been eating raw food for a long time, and he says that he found out just a little bit of dairy balances out the whole process. So if you're making a salad, you add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Not a lot, just a little bit, maybe a little bit of yogurt.
Well, I think that's very valid. For each one of us, our bodies have a slightly different constitution. And part of it is childhood habit, but part of it is what we really need in our bodies. And if you look at the whole world, nutrition-wise, it's very interesting. There's the China study is a fascinating book because they named it the China study because the populations in China have stayed put. You know, this northwestern group's been there for 1,000 years, and this southeastern group's been there for 1,000 years, and they haven't blended. Whereas in the United States, you know, we're just a jumble mess, so you can't really judge our nutrition. But there are, and people do survive in parts of China on almost all animal protein, and then on other parts of China on almost zero animal protein diet, and our bodies can adjust. So everyone has a little bit of individuality to it. That's why 80% raw is the way I kind of like to go. I think that works really well, unless I'm in a healing crisis. And after I broke my back and neck, did I finish telling that story? I was out of they put me in this brace, you know, with this huge, big, awful brace. They said I would be in it for a minimum of 6 months. And I did 100% raw. I ate nothing that wasn't raw. I was out of the brace in 2 months and 3 weeks, and I was 69 years old. People couldn't believe it. The doctors absolutely were astounded. They'd never seen anyone's bones or body heal that quickly because the raw food is what our body needs to heal. And if we can, a healthy diet, if we could get America, simply eat more raw than cooked. Get it to 60% raw. It would be amazing instead of the American diet, which is less than 5% raw. I mean, if you think about what we eat in our culture, I mean, the typical person gets up and they have bacon and eggs for breakfast with toast. Dead, dead, and dead. They probably have orange juice that they got out of a bottle. It says pasteurized. That means it's been boiled. All of its enzymes are dead. They've gotten 0 enzymes. Then they go to lunch. They have a hamburger and french fries. Then they go to dinner. They have, oh, they're good. They're going to have steamed fish and rice and steamed vegetables. They've not gotten one single living enzyme in their bodies all day. Now, in young people whose bodies are raging with enzymes, that still works. But as we get older, we develop all kinds of problems, you know, constipation, you know, just all kinds of things that happen. Let me tell you, do 100% raw, the word constipation vanishes from your vocabulary. You know, poop 5 times a day, that comes into your vocabulary. I mean, can do. But it's such an incredibly healthy way to live. It goes back to man's natural background, and we've lost track of that. So I like to just show, these are just a few things. I'm giving out these recipes. I have a whole stacks of all different kinds. Anything you can think of that you would like to make, you can just go online and Google raw. I mean, raw fettuccine Alfredo, one of my favorite things. All kinds of things are raw and super healthy and super good for you. Anybody have any questions that I may or may not be able to answer?
We just wanted to thank you, Sunny, and thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Oh, thank you so. Man, can I make a mess?